Hi guys, this is Jan, and in this video I wanted to cover a way that I tune my cars whenever I'm at a race that I feel like not a lot of other people are actually doing. And that is switching batteries, basically using different makes of batteries. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and cover the differences between each of them and exactly why I actually switch batteries every once in a while and see why a battery would be replaced from one car over the other or stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, the reason why, as you can probably guess, why I switch different battery brands is, as you can see, I have a scale here. So you could probably guess that it's probably because of the weights. And what we're going to first cover is the first two batteries that are the most common, basically that I've seen used over here in the US and Japan, of course, and in other countries as well, in all the videos that I've seen on YouTube, is the Eneloops and the Neo Champs. These are all of the batteries that we're going to test today are going to be nickel metal hydrides. These are Energizer brand, and these are Duracells as well. Duracell and another brand of Duracell, basically another model of Duracell batteries. And we're going to compare them and see why they're going to perform differently because of weight. And here I'm just going to quickly show you what their different readings are. Let's see. Okay, you can see that. Neo Champs. Neo Champs are really good because they're super light. They clock in around like 36 or 37. It should go in between like 36 or 37 grams generally most of the time whenever I test them. And one of the reasons why you want 37 grams is because it's light, and being light means you have better acceleration and better cornering, and that can be good for like very technical tracks where there's lots of corners or lots of short straights, basically. Now we're gonna check the end loops and see how much they weigh. And these are just the regular end loops that you're gonna see that are very common. They come in at like 2,000 milliamp hours, 52 grams. And then now we're gonna check the Energizers. These ones I don't know exactly what brand they are. They're just Energizers. Let's see, it's 2,300 milliamp hours, so they have a little bit higher capacity. And we'll see how much they weigh. 56 grams. They often clock in for me at like 56 or sometimes 57 grams. Okay, now we're gonna check these Duracells. This particular kind, it just says Duracell rechargeable. I don't know if there's a model number or what. We're gonna put them down and see how much they weigh. Now this one goes in at 57, or it was clocking in at 58 just a little bit ago. Put them down. Okay, 57 again. So they weigh about as much as the Energizers. And then these are also Duracells. It just says Duralock, Duracell rechargeable, pre-charged. Don't know if you could read that. It's a little shiny. Let's drop those down and see how much they weigh. 60 grams. So these are the heaviest batteries that I have, at least with me. I have another set of what they call Enercells. If I remember correctly, they clock it around 62 grams. And since I know you're probably thinking, okay, then why are you just showing weight? Basically, other factors come into batteries as well. Okay, I'll show you that I've also drained all of these batteries so that they're right around the same voltage. Okay, I'll show you the Neo Champs too. Neo Champs 1.3 volts. Check the end loops. 1.298, so it's basically 1.3. Check the Energizers. 1.3 volts as well. And these are Duracell ones. These are also 1.3 volts. I'll go up on the last Duracell, the heaviest Duracell, 1.3 volts as well. So now we're gonna see, since voltage has now become a non-factor, they're all basically the same voltage. We're gonna see how they perform on the track that we have laid out today. Okay guys, I also wanted to cover the same car that we're going to be using for each run for testing all of the batteries. Just to show what type of setup I have for the car, at least. This is a VS chassis car. There's a front underguard that I put on, and these are the large diameter heavy aluminum wheels, and these are trimmed tires, 19 millimeter rollers and everywhere basically, front and back. I have the 18 millimeter roller here turned into just a stabilizer, and this is a mass dampers here. I don't remember exactly the full weight of each mass damper, but this is a hanging damper setup. Basically, it's supposed to help keep the car down after it bounces. I also have a mass damper here in the back, and the black brakes over here, the medium brakes basically. And I have a 3-point connection on the back for the carbon rear stay. I also have a carbon front, of course. And this is a Hyper Dash motor. No, not a Hyper Dash, Hyper Dash 2 motor with 4.2 to 1 gear ratio. And this is a car that we're gonna basically test. And I'm just going to quickly show you how much it weighs. Let me just slide ourselves over so that you can do the math in terms of like changing all of the once I switch over the batteries, you could tell the difference in terms of weight and what they're going to be like when I put the different sets of batteries in. So this weighs 156 grams. So with Eneloops, since they were 52 grams earlier, it should be 208 grams. So we're gonna do that. 207, 208, all right? Okay. We're gonna start with the Eneloops. Okay, it's now time to check the Eneloops. I'm sure you could see it through the see-through canopy of the Avante body that I have picked out. Let's go start the test. And in order for me to actually give you a proper test, the only way that we could actually see any difference is if we actually use a lap timer and see how it works out. Ready? Go! So the time that the Eneloops have is 21.44 seconds. Okay. Now let's switch over to the Energizers. Okay, time to check the Energizers. Let's see if you can see the batteries on through the canopy. Okay. Let me reset the timer. Reseat it properly. Ready, go! stopped. This car is a little unstable. It finished 3 laps anyway, so we're gonna check the time. It says 21:84, so it's slower than the Eneloops. Okay guys, so now we're testing the 56 or 57 gram Duracell batteries. It's kind of hard to see through the canopy, but those are the Duracells. At least the first kind that I have. So test it. Set the time. Ready, go! Let's see the time. Okay, so these are a lot slower than the other ones, 22.64 seconds. So you see the difference in weight with the Energizer and the Duracell isn't that much, but you can see the difference. Okay, so now we're gonna test the heavy weight of the pack, the Duracell 60 gram batteries. Let's see if you could see it through the canopy. Alright, let's turn this on. Ready, go! See how much of a difference it is. Oh, 2210. Okay, so these are a little bit better than the other Duracell. The other Duracell clocked in at 22.6. Okay, now it's time to test the Neo Champs. Hopefully you can see it through the canopy. It's these are the lightest batteries that we have, and they weigh in at least 15 grams lighter than the next lightest battery that I have, which is the Eneloops. So we're gonna set the time. Forgot to do that. Ready, go! Okay, let's see how quick these batteries are. Oh, 21.7 grams. 21.7 grams. 21.7 seconds. Interesting. So these are slower than the Eneloops. Okay, time to check. Okay, so if weight was the only factor that we're testing with these tests today, why is it that we have Eneloops clocking in faster than the Neo Champs? Wherein, if you recall correctly, the Eneloops were coming in at around 21.44 seconds, and the Neo Champs came in at 21.73. Yes, they did come in second. But why was it slower? Well, there's another factor that goes into batteries that a lot of people don't really check, which is the amperage. What is amperage? Amperage is the amount of current that flows through the batteries, or how much the batteries could actually put out, like how quickly it could push power out, basically. And Eneloops are known to be one of the higher ones, so we'll see if we'll see and compare what the differences are between all of these batteries in terms of amperage. We're gonna go check the Eneloops first. And if you have a multimeter, you could probably check this yourself, but these numbers are going to be not representative of batteries that are fully charged. They've been run after like 4 laps maybe. And let's check and see. The Eneloops come in at, hold on, get this going correctly, 8, basically 8 amps. Yeah, now it's going down. Yeah, when you're checking the amperage, you're gonna see that it's not consistent. It's gonna start at the high number and then it'll keep going down after a while. See, this one starts at 8, stays at 8, goes up. Then at some point it's gonna drop down like that. See? So that is 8 amps on the Eneloops. And now we're gonna check the Energizers. Okay, these Energizers, let's see how this one goes up to 7.8 and then it drops down to 7.6 and 7.7. Let's check the other Energizer. This one starts at 8 and then goes down to 7.9. Okay, so both of those are relatively high amperage, so they push out more current than the regular batteries. Now let's check the Duracell. The 56, 57 gram Duracells. This one is the low, 7.4. So now you can see why why it's a lot slower than the other ones. It has a lot less current that it'll push out. So it's heavier and it's a lot less current. So if you want to slow your car down, this is probably one of the best ways to do it. You can make it heavier and at the same time have the battery push a lot less current through it. So this one's also, yeah, 7.6 amps. Now let's check the other Duracell, the heavyweights. Basically, let's see how high it goes. This is also 8 amps, 7.9. Yeah, it starts at 7.9 on this cell. Let's check the other cell. 7.8, starts at 7.8, and then it's gonna drop down from there. Okay, so these are about 7.9. Now we're gonna check the Neo Champs. Let's check the first cell. 7.6 and 7.8. So these are one of the lower ones. It even puts out less power than the other Duracell. .8. Yep, 7.5. It's gonna keep dropping. Alright. 7.8 amps. 7.8. So now what can we conclude from this sort of test? Basically what I'm saying is that there's going to be a lot of factors that go into deciding exactly what batteries you should run on any given track, because sometimes a lighter battery is just perfect for a track that's very technical. There's lots of curves, there are short straights. I would go with a Neo Champ on those. If I wanted to go use a car wherein it's basically just slightly off, slightly imbalanced, and it's not staying in or it's just bouncing out, in order to slow a car like that down, I would use these Duracells, because they have low amperage, they put out less current, and they're heavier. They clock in at around 57 grams, so that's one of the factors that you could use for slowing your car down. But if I was gonna use like batteries most of the time, Eneloops are gonna be fine. The Eneloops are good generally most of the time. They give you a lot of power in a short amount of time, and they last relatively long. You know, they're gonna run out of voltage at some point too, but they're very good. They just give you a good balance because it comes in at 52 grams. It gives you quite a bit of current for that weight, and it'll last relatively long for any races where maybe if you're in an impound. But generally, if I run into issues where with an Eneloops are not sticking, or the Neo Champs are just too fast, I usually go with the Energizers because they're just a little bit slower. Sometimes it just slows down your car enough, and it'll help you out because it gives you less bounces too because it's a little bit heavier. And that's it basically, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.